Hey, what's going on, sports fans? This is Shawn with boxingandbasketball.com, and we're here with our co-host, Matthew Reyna. What's going on, Matthew?
Hey, it's a beautiful day in San Antonio. We had a great night, and we're looking forward to a quick sweep of the Portland Trailblazers.
I hear that. And listen, for all y'all that's out there watching live right now, sorry to let you know this Thursday we won't be able to go live. So we'll see if we can make anything else happen. But more than likely, you'll probably get us next Monday. But we'll try to give you all we can tonight to make it last for the week. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So let's start it off. Oh, since you're wearing your San Antonio hat before we start off, let's give a shout out to Wembyamba, the defensive player of the year. Matthew, we talked about this. We come on now. We all knew this was going to happen, right? I mean, was there anybody even close?
Un-
Anybody?
unanimous, which means
Who else was in the running?
So it was Asar Thompson from Detroit, and the second place was Chet Holmgren from OKC. And I don't watch a ton of Thunder games, so I didn't even know that Chet Holmgren was considered like that good of a defender to be number two to Wemby. Because you get so used to these lists, you get so used to seeing like Evan Mobley, then of course Rudy Gobert, then Draymond receiving some votes. So seeing Chet at number two kind of surprised me, but I mean, in this kind of race, it doesn't matter who's number two because when the number one guy gets all 100 of the first place votes, and I mean, he just showed it again yesterday. You're watching that Blazers game, the way he was dominating that paint, the way they wouldn't even shoot when he was near. It tells you exactly why he's the defensive player of the year.
All right, got you. Yeah, like I said, once again, shout out to Wembyama. At least it wasn't no shock to me at all. All right, we're
No.
gonna start off. Topic number one, Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Magic shocked the Pistons. I ain't gonna lie, I was completely blown away. I just couldn't believe it. Like, to me, it's almost like they shouldn't even be able to hold their jock strap. Listen, Kate
Ooh.
Cunningham dropped a career playoff high 39 points, Matthew, in front of his home crowd, and the Pistons still lost to the number 8 seeded Magic 112 to 101. Now, Orlando's depth was really the difference. So Paolo Banchero, he led with 23 points and 9 boards, but Franz Wagner poured in 19 with 11 of those in the fourth quarter. Desmond Bain and Wendell Carter each added 17. Man, and Jalen Suggs, he started off the game like on fire. I'm looking at him like he's thinking like this is the last 30 seconds of the finals. I mean, he went all out the first 1 to 2 minutes of the game. He chipped in 16, five Magic players in double figures against the Pistons team that leaned entirely on one man. Then Detroit jumped out to a 1 of 6 shooting to start with 4 turnovers, and they just never really fully recovered. Orlando led like 18-5 midway through the first quarter and held that lead after every period. Now, the Pistons' home playoff losing streak is now 11 games dating back to 2008. It's the longest in NBA history. So, Matthew, my question to you, did we just watch the most complete upset performance of this entire first round?
Yeah, I mean, there's limited stuff to choose from, I mean, we've only got one game for every team. Some teams are playing their second game right now. But yeah, it was a complete game for the Magic. And if you're the Magic, what you got to love is that everybody in your starting lineup was eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at everybody there, everybody broke double figures. Jalen Suggs, generally like someone that you're going to use as your defensive stopper. He was doing a little bit of everything 16, 4, 4, and 3 before he fouled out. Desmond Bain, not a good shooting night, but doing a little bit of everything 17, 6, and 5. Franz Wagner, efficient night from the field. Paolo, efficient night from the field, still making the three-pointer. And Wendell Carter dominating down low. So
Yep.
then some limited contributions from the bench too. And what you really like to see is almost everybody that was in the game shot 50% from the field. The Magic shot 49 from the game, but if you look through their rotation, 50, 50, 50, 43,
Uh-huh.
54, they had a lot of guys shooting efficiently. And what you worry about if you're Detroit is, man, I mean, you got everything from Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham gave you 39, but if you don't have a second player to really give you anything. Like if Cade's going to open it up like that, but the rest of the team's not delivering anything. I mean,
Right.
Tobias Harris, I don't like to think of him as old because me and him are about the same age. But
He's been
when you
around
got
for a minute.
he's been around for a minute, and if he's going to be your second option in the playoffs, which he was yesterday, shooting 15 shots, you worry that that's not going to be enough. I mean, Tobias Harris in his prime wasn't good enough to be the second best player on a championship team. So why is he going to be the second best player on a championship team as he's exiting his prime? You worry about Jalen Duren only taking 4 shots. I mean, after a year where I want to say he was an all-star for the first time this year, in a year where he was just dominant, 65% from the field, 20 and 11 to get in your first playoff game and to shoot 4 shots for the whole game, 8.7 rebounds. Now the good thing about Jalen Duren is that, okay, these guys haven't really taken their licks in the playoffs yet. Yeah. Jalen Duren's a young guy. I'm not sure if this is his first ever playoff series. It might be, might not. Let's see. Second playoff series. Last year they got booted in the first round. So second playoff series. So your young guy, your 22-year-old guy, he's going to take his licks in the playoffs. You got to earn that experience. So you would believe that by next game, you're going to get more from Jalen Duren. You would believe. You didn't get anything from your bench. I mean, just a pathetic performance from the bench, including your boy, Danish Jenkins, shooting 1 of 7 from the field. So you really worry about who's going to step up besides Cade, because if you're getting 39 from Cade and you're wasting it and the rest of the team, can't make a bucket, the rest of the team outside of Cade made 18 field goals total. So, I mean, that's horrendous. You got to get more around Cade if you want to start winning some of these games.
Right. And Matthew, let's also look at it from this way, right? It's just one game, right? So the top seeds have recovered from game 1 losses before. But look, Detroit has home court for 3 of the next 4 and a coaching staff that can make adjustments, right? But the way Orlando won, man, that should really worry the Pistons fans. They didn't need a single player to just go off and go nuclear. They moved the ball, shared the scoring, executed the system. Detroit's help defense collapsed every time the ball swung, giving up wide open threes, the cutting lanes. If Pistons can't tighten their rotations and take away the secondary shooters, man, this could be like a quick series, Matthew. Like Cade carrying 39 of the load every night, that's just not sustainable at all. Someone else, like you said, in Detroit has to step up.
I don't think it's going to be a quick series for the Magic. I mean, even if the Magic were to win this series, I think it would be a dogfight, 6 or 7 games. The one thing you maybe take solace in if you're Detroit is that all your players kind of played below their averages, whether it was Asar Thompson, Duncan Robinson, Jalen Duren. Everybody played below their averages. So you would think that if the Pistons revert to the mean and the Magic revert to the mean, that the Pistons are still going to have more out there, where you really start to worry. Game 2 is almost a must-win now because you've already given up home court advantage losing game 1.
Yeah.
So if you lose the second game, you give Orlando a ton of momentum heading back to their home games in games 3 and 4. So game 2 is a mini must-win for your Detroit Pistons.
Right. And Matthew, we've praised and talked about B. Stu being this enforcer, the Draymond type beast to go out there. I mean, he seemed like he was irrelevant that whole game. Where was that toughness? Where's that chirpiness? Where's that hack 'em, shack 'em type, get in their face, knock them down? I'll take a flagrant foul type play.
Man, Paolo got in his face after he got a bucket on him and kind of took his heart early. And the thing with those
took his heart.
took his heart. And the thing with those guys is that a lot of these guys that are the glue guys, the heart and soul guys. So sometimes that can be so overrated. And I mean, if he's not contributing on the floor, like yesterday, I think he was 0 for 2 in 18 minutes. So I think a lot of the locker room stuff's overrated if you're not actually performing in the game. So, I mean, Detroit, yeah, sure, they missed Beef Stew. But, I mean, I think you have a lot of other guys that you want to see performing before you worry about Beef Stew over there.
Yeah, I guess so. Dude, You know what I'm thinking, Matthew? I'm thinking that. All right, let's look up to the last month leading up to this, right? Magic will have one or two great games, and they go like on a 6, 7 game skid. Win
Mm.
two strong 3 games, and then go on a 6, 7 game skid again. Do you think that's going to repeat here? They came off with a good one, maybe might get another one, but the other ones they just going to stink up the place.
I mean, they were playing pretty bad to end the season. So to get that big victory over Charlotte the other day, and I
Oh
remember you
yeah,
called me during the game where you putting it on them by 30, 40 points. And
yeah, I couldn't believe
then
it.
yeah, then to come out and win game 1 against Detroit. They look good, but they've looked pretty mediocre for most of the second half of the season because they got off to a little bit of a hot start to kind of climb the stand
Hmm.
and then kind of fell apart on the back nine. And so you wonder with the Magic, how long can this last? At what
Right.
point will they revert to the mean? And so far, they haven't in the postseason, both in the play-in and in the playoff game. But you wonder when will these boys revert to the mean? Because you think it feels like it'll happen eventually. But good for them
Yeah,
coming out.
because they got those 2 good games, like you said, Charlotte in the first one. Now they're due for a good 5, 6 game losing streak. So I wouldn't be shocked if they lose the next 4. It's just I'm not saying they're not a good team, man, but that's just how things have been going for them.
I wouldn't be shocked if they lose the next 4. I think my prediction would probably be Pistons in 6. But let's see what happens in game 2 because it can get a lot more interesting if the Magic win game 2.
Boy, they do that. Do you know how much the media is going to blast the Detroit Pistons
Oh yeah,
if that happens?
that magnifying glass is going to get hot if the
Yep.
Magic win.
Yep. All right. So let's go ahead and swing over to topic number 2. Jason Tatum. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum ruptured his Achilles tendon last season, right? And just to put up, and he just put up 25, 11, and 7 his first playoff game. Back then, the Celtics won by 32. Jaylen Brown matched him with 26. The two combined to shoot 20 for 38 from the field. Boston's offense was efficient from the opening tip. On Philly's side, Tyrese Maxey managed 21 points, 8 assists, but had no support. Paul George was limited to 17, and without Embiid, the Sixers had no rim protection or interior presence to even slow down Boston's attack. Now, that 123 to 91 final was never in doubt. So, Matthew, is this Celtics team's better than last year's championship squad now that Tatum is back?
Are they better? Well, they're pretty good. So they didn't win the championship last year. The Thunder won it last year.
The one before that.
One
I'm
before,
talking about
yeah.
like championship
Gotcha.
quality. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think they might be better, but I think the rest of the league is better around them because I think the Thunder are just as good as anybody in the league. I think
Yeah.
the Spurs are just as good as anybody in the league. The Pistons, I don't think that about. So I think, in terms of what's going on in the East, they're a lot better. They've lapped the competition in the East. Obviously, Milwaukee fell off, not even in the playoffs. Detroit already struggling. If you're Boston, you love that you just came out and took care of business. You didn't mess around with it. 123 to
Right.
91, you're winning the game the whole time. And if you're Philly, I mean, there's a lot to worry about. That I can't even count the issues that Philly has, especially if Embiid's not coming back. So if you're Boston, you just said Embiid's out, we're not going to play with our food. We're going to go out and
Right.
get this. And Tatum, what I love about Tatum since he's come back from his injury is he's a rebounder now, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's been getting double-digit boards in all these games. He's playing aggressive,
Because
and I
Jalen
love.
told him to.
Well, you know what, man?
Jalen said I'm number one. You go ahead and grab them rebounds.
Well, there's a little bit to that. I think in the sense that it felt like whose team is this going to be when Tatum comes back because of the season Brown's having.
Yeah.
And what Tatum has said is, I'm not going to complain and moan about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go play basketball. And he's been the team leader in assists and rebounds in several of their games since then, all while playing great perimeter defense. I mean, he's doing everything. He was a plus 20 last night. Jaylen Brown was a plus 23. And they're moving off each other in ways that are like seamless. I feel like where they're getting their buckets within the offense. I mean, sometimes Jaylen Brown forces up a couple, but for the most part, they're both getting their buckets within the flow of the offense. And it's not like a your turn, my turn thing, or here's my ISO, here's your ISO. So I love what we're getting with both of them. And I love how Tatum has like just morphed his game into being some dominant rebounder. And so he can contribute in ways that aren't scoring. So I do think Tatum and Brown's games are more complete than they were a couple years ago, even when they won the title. And you obviously you don't have Porzingis and you don't have a few of the other pieces you had that year, but to have a 6-man like Peyton Pritchard, to have Derek White on the team. You got like some good veterans, what they call not stars, but stars in their role. And I really like what this team can do. And I'm almost getting to the point where I would be surprised if they didn't win the East, especially if Detroit continues to struggle in their round 1 series.
Right. All right. So listen, on top of that, but also Tatum coming back from that Achilles from last year and looking that sharp is like really remarkable, Matthew. So most players need like months to regain that explosiveness, right? And he was getting to spots like he never missed any time. But the Sixers, dealing with the Sixers without Embiid, where their weakest possible test case, Philly's a play-in team, not a real playoff challenger. We won't know what this Boston team actually is until they face someone with like interior size, defensive versatility. The East bracket is set up for a potential really Celtics versus Cavs or Celtics versus Knicks matchup in the second round. That's where we'll learn if Tatum's comeback is like truly complete, if he's back to where he needs to be.
So the Celtics will be playing the winner of the Cavaliers and the Knicks and the Hawks, I believe.
Right.
No. The Knicks and the Raptors. Right? Who the Knicks playing? Knicks are playing the Hawks. I see. I'm looking at this bracket. I guess where did my bracket go? I'm missing my bracket now. It looks like they're going to be playing the winner of the Knicks and the Hawks. So I don't think that's going to be. I expect the Knicks to be the winner of that series, and I don't necessarily think that's like the toughest challenge for Boston. I think I don't see anybody on the Knicks that are really going to give Boston trouble. The matchup that I think could be interesting for them if they have to play them at some point before the finals is if Cleveland makes it to the third round. I think Cleveland is a team that could the way they're playing together right now, and it looks like they're about to beat Toronto right now to go up in that series 2-0. And I think everybody says like getting Harden on that team and inserting him in as your second best player, which I think we're going to talk about. That has changed the face of that team, and that they look like a real contender, and they're peaking at the right time. So, I mean, the Knicks are good this year, and going to New York and playing in Madison Square Garden is tough. But I don't know necessarily that that's going to be this massive test. I think the bigger test looms with Detroit or Cleveland. And really, I think at this point of the year right now, I think Cleveland's looking tougher than Detroit. So at some point, they'll get a real test in the East, but they're not going to get it this round, especially with Embiid out. And you wonder, even if Embiid comes back, he's probably not coming back at full game shape. So if you're playing this version of Paul George, who's only taking 8 shots in the game, and besides Maxey, you're only dealing with VJ Edgecombe and guys like that, Quentin Grimes, the starting center, Adam Bona. This might be a cakewalk. If Embiid doesn't come back, this might be wrapped up in 4 games for Boston.
Right. And I guess I meant to say, the Celtics, not the second round, but they could potentially face the Cavs because they'll get past either the Knicks or the Atlanta Hawks. I don't really see that being a problem for them.
I mean, the Knicks have some good players, but I don't think Brunson and Towns add up to a Brown and a Tatum. But we'll see. That's why they play the games.
Exactly. All right, so let me switch to this real quick. I got something for everybody.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
I had to get that in there. They got to donate. Donate. Tell them Mama need a new pair of shoes, Matthew.
Hey man, this apartment need to get paid. This car note need to go in for the month.
Yeah, make sure y'all hit that thanks down below. Donate to me and Matthew so we can have our Rolls Royces and our Beamers and that $500,000 house.
We just want to pay the bills on the Camry, man.
There you have it. Man, I'm going to tell you what. Moving on to topic number 3, right? Man, Luke Kennard was averaging 9 points a game as a Laker. He dropped a career playoff high of 27, went 9 for 13 shooting, and went 5 for 5 from 3. Now, LeBron James ran the offense like a point guard all night. He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists, including the 8 assists in just the first quarter. That was just, alone in the first quarter. How do you say it? Marcus Smart. How do you say it?
Marcus Smart from Boston.
Marcus Smart from Boston. He added 6 assists of his own. DeAndre Ayton, what do you like to call him? What do you call him?
Dominating.
Yeah, dominating. Yeah, dominating Ayton. Finished with double figures, working the paint. Now, on Houston's side, Kevin Durant missed the game with a knee injury. He suffered in practice last Wednesday. And I'm still trying to figure out how in the world, Matthew, how do you get a knee injury during a practice? Like, what are you doing to get this knee injury?
It's the same thing. You're running, I feel like at the high levels of the NBA, when you're running playoff practices, I feel like it very much is like a game, not quite like a game, but in terms of how you're running these plays, I mean, you have the same potential to get these kind of injuries that you would get in a game. But I know you've got a little more to say on this, but I think it's very scary, Shawn, for the Rockets, for your Houston Rockets. I think it's very scary that this injury led to Kevin Durant actually sitting out. And maybe they thought they had enough firepower to win the game without him. So they thought they were going to, okay, let's test it out. Let's see if we can't steal game 1 without him, let him heal a little bit. But now that they lost game 1, if he's not in for game 2, that is a giant red flag, because that means it's a pretty serious injury if he's missing 2 games of a playoff series. And that is a different team without him. Those guys, those young bucks, like, hey, man, they're good in their own right. They're going to, some of them are going to be killers in the future. Some of them won't be, certainly.
Yeah.
But they've struggled all year without Kevin Durant. I mean, even when he's missed games, but even when he sat on the bench, or even like when he hasn't been having good games, but he's been there, their season has kind of gone with Kevin Durant. And so because what's crazy to me watching those games, because I would watch those Rockets games early in the season and yell at the TV at them not passing it to KD, them looking off KD, then doing some stupid drive or taking some stupid shot. And really, that's where you miss your point guard, Fred VanVleet, who got injured for the season at the beginning of the year, because that's somebody that would know, at certain points of the game, it's KD time. Well, we got to find this guy. And for him to be out, that's very scary. But I think if he plays game 2, then all's well that ends well, because maybe they were just testing him out. Maybe they were just saying, hey, can we beat the Lakers without Durant? But if you're the Lakers, you love that chemistry they played with without Luka and Austin Reeves. And you wonder, because I've been making this point in every show, Shawn, that Luka takes 35 shots a game and it's not sustainable. And in some ways, it's like short-term gain.
Yeah, and you're not giving nobody else a chance to really practice the game, get their shots up. Because then when the playoffs come, they don't have experience getting shots. You're allowing me to take 2 shots with 3 minutes left in the game when you throw me in the last minute. That man, out of that 35, he need to give up at least 10 of those shots to somebody else to let them get the rhythm and practice their shooting in high-profile games.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's short-term gain for long-term pain is what I thought of that strategy.
Oh, I like that. What do you call it? Short-term what?
Short-term gain for long-term pain.
Long-term pain. Okay, I like that.
And that's what I think the Lakers were doing by letting Luka. I mean, he was playing very good, but a lot of guys are going to score 40 points, 50 points if they get 30 shots. And the whole last month of the season before he got injured, they were pretty much just, I mean, what was the playbook? It was get Luka the ball. And look at how well, with him out, now the bench didn't give you much, but when you look at the starters, everybody was in double figures. 14 for Rui, 19 for LeBron, 27 for your boy Luke Kennard, 19 for Ayton, and 15 for Marcus Smart. So they're all playing, they're all moving it. Ayton also getting some boards, LeBron also diming them up like Magic Johnson. So, and here's the thing I like the most. Here's what really stands out on the stat sheet, and you can see it watching the game. Nobody in the starting lineup, nobody on their team took more than 15 shots. All the starters took at least 10 shots, but no more than 15. So they're spreading the love, spreading the sugar. And I don't think that was happening when Luka was there. And you wonder if this series goes long enough, or if they make it to the second round where Luka comes back, is the rest of the team going to say, okay, Luka, let's go back to, me taking 3-4 shots so you could take 35? Or is the rest of the team going to say, hey, no, look, this worked for us in the first round. We need to be moving that rock. Because, Luka only passes when he's got an assist. Luka is not like he gets a lot of assists, but he's not necessarily a charitable passer. He passes when he's got a double team and somebody's wide open. But most of the time, whether it's a step back, whether it's a drive, most of the time he's looking to score. And sometimes the defense is so focused on him that somebody pops open. I mean, it's like LeBron or Giannis, or especially LeBron with the passer he is. LeBron in his prime was not like a Magic Johnson-like passer, but his assist numbers were so high. But that's because the defense was selling out to get to him, that somebody was wide open. So I don't think of Luka as someone that's necessarily charitable, despite his assist numbers. And so I'm going to be very curious if they win this series, or if this series goes long enough for him to come back. If he's sharing the love, sharing the sugar, or if he's back to 30, 35 shots. Because I think if he comes back and takes that approach, I think it's going to hurt the team's chemistry.
Right. Listen, when you have career nights like that for role players, they usually don't repeat themselves, right? The defensives, they start to adjust. The spotlight gets even brighter. But Kennard isn't just a random guy, because if you look at his career, right, in the NBA, he has a 3-point percentage 3 times. He's led the NBA in 3-point percentages 3 times in his career. So the Lakers offense doesn't need him to score 27 every night like he did the other day, right? They just need him to be credible enough threat that Houston has to close out hard. And if they do that, it's going to open up the lane for LeBron James and cutting lanes for Ayton. If he's even half the efficient in game 2, the Lakers' spacing problems without Luka becomes much more manageable. Now, the real question is what happens when KD comes back for Houston. Now, that changes the defensive equation entirely.
But let's see if he's there in the next game, because that's what you wonder about. Yeah, because if KD's back, then, they're going to go right back to being the favorites. But if he's not there, you really start to wonder about the series, because I'm sure that, some coaches with the strategy to go out and get one without him would sit him for game 1 if they're not worried about him. But sitting him for game 2 strongly implies that this is a serious injury when you're missing 2 playoff games. As far as Kennard, you said he led the league in 3 points, and 3-pointers 3 times, including this season. So, I mean, if you look at the numbers this year, my God, 53, 48, 91, 48% from the 3-point line. And that's on 3 3-pointers a game. So he's going to be credible. Like, he's credible out there, whether he's scoring 27 or not. If he's out there from 3, he's a credible threat to hit that 3. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the game right now. So he's going to open that floor up for LeBron. LeBron don't move as fast as he used to, but LeBron's going to have those driving lanes. Ayton's going to have some room in the post to operate. I mean, we'll see. He could be inconsistent, but you got to think, if they're all selling out to Kennard and everyone else is hitting their 3s, I don't necessarily think of Marcus Smart and Rui Hachimura as knockdown 3-point shooters. But if they can keep that perimeter open, keep moving that ball, and if LeBron's getting 13 assists a game, then that's really going to open up the floor for everybody else. So you really like what you're seeing from LA, and if you're a Houston fan, you really want to see if KD plays in game 2, because I would expect that if he doesn't play in game 2, I would expect him to miss a few games.
Right.
So we'll see.
And Matthew, I think that's what Aiton meant. Remember, was that about a month ago when we're laughing and joking when he said, "Man, I'm not no Clint Capella," and everybody took that to heart. And then afterwards, they made him apologize on camera, said, "Man, I'm just here to play my role." But I think this is what he was talking about, right? I think this is what he meant. Without Luka and without Austin Reeves, right? You have to use them now, right? And all he's trying to say is, look what I can do when I'm not the 5th and 6th option. If you make me the 2nd, 3rd option, I'm showing you what I can do. I'm not no LeBron or Luka, but I can add value to this team. And I think that's all what he was trying to say when he said, I'm not no Clint Capella.
Well, if that's what he was trying to say, he didn't say it very artfully, but I don't know that that's what he was trying to say. But
I think so.
But he's got the talent. Let's not forget he was the first pick in the draft, and he's played in the finals.
That, like 10 years ago?
No, it's like 5 years ago. That's the same draft as Luka.
He looked like he's 50.
Yeah, he looked like an old man, that's for sure. But let's see, that was in 2018.
It's gotta be longer than that. Yeah,
so
almost 10 years ago.
About eight years ago. No, next.
I know it wasn't 5 years ago. I knew it was longer than that. He's been around for a minute.
So he's been there for a while. He's got the talent. You know, he's been in a championship, but you know, a lot of the word on him right now is that he quits when the going gets tough. So let's see what happens when the going gets tough. But really what I want to see, let's see what happens when Luka comes back and starts wanting 30 shots again, because I think that might hurt team chemistry.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, moving on to topic number 4. Man, did you see the way the Thunder demolished the Suns? Woo! Yeah. The defending champions won game 1 by 35 points, and SGA didn't even play the 4th quarter because it was already over, Matthew, as you like to call him, FTA. Now, SGA finished with 25 points, going 15 for 17 from the free throw line, despite shooting just 5 of 18 from the field. Even on a terrible shooting night, he was dominant. Jalen Williams added 22. Chet Holmgren had all 16 of his points by halftime, including a full court pass and a 3-pointer to end the first quarter. Man, Phoenix was overmatched from the start. Devin Booker scored 23 for the Suns, scored 23, but the Suns shot just 34.9 as a team. And Dylan Brooks was your boy, Dylan Brooks, 6 for 22. And OKC led 65-45 at the break, and it only got worse. So, Matthew, is there any team in the West that can push this Thunder squad to 6 games outside of the Spurs?
Maybe the Nuggets. But the thing is, Denver, if they get past the Wolves, which I think they will, if they get past the Wolves, then they got to go against the Spurs. So your two biggest rivals to the throne are gonna beat each other up. So if you're OKC, you're either gonna play Denver or you're gonna play San Antonio, which is why it's so dumb to me. And I know I keep harping on this. It's so dumb to me that San Antonio threw in the towel against Denver in the last game of the season and didn't play Wemby, because if you win that game, you drop Denver a seed to where Denver would have to play OKC in the second round, and you'd get to play the winner of LA and Houston. So, all right, Bub, or you'd get to play LA and somebody. I don't know if in this theoretical that Houston would still be in that spot, but you wouldn't have to play Denver. And not only that, OKC would have to go through Denver. And, you know, I thought the Suns were going to be a tougher out for the Thunder. And as a Spurs fan, I was really excited when the Trailblazers won the play-in against the Suns, because that meant we got to play the Trailblazers and the Thunder had to play the Suns. But, you know, it looks like, you know, the Thunder are going to lay some BTA to the Suns, and that's going to be that. I mean, they didn't really show anything. I mean, Booker was okay. You know, he hit some buckets, nothing special. Dylan Brooks, man, was playing very bad. And not only that, he was still chirping. And it's always awkward when you watch a guy losing by 20, it's still chirping. It's, you know, I just I get the mentalities that he's going to be like that whenever, always, whether he's up 20 or down 20. But there is nothing sadder than seeing a guy down 20 still chirping at the other team. I mean, that's just hard to watch. And no, you OKC. The one thing, my one critique, because there's really not much to critique there. The starters didn't really have to play the fourth quarter. The bench players got a lot of valuable playoff experience. Everybody on the roster played at least 4 minutes. A lot of guys at the back of the roster got to, get 10 to 15 minutes. The one complaint I'm going to have, Shawn, and you know what I call SGA, FTA, and the fact that he went 5 for 18 from the field, but 15 for 17 from the free throw line. And I get some of those were actually fouls, but I saw plenty of the variety of him landing in unnatural places on his jump shot and making the face and getting the call. I don't look, man, like I think the NBA, oh, wow, I'm hearing some thunder outside. I think you got a lot of.
You hear OKC thunder outside? They must be hearing what you're saying.
They're here, man. I'm hearing some OKC thunder down here in San Antonio, and there's a lot to like. But look, man, there's so much talent in this league. I don't think any of the fans want to watch a free throw shooting competition. And you could say that's not the player's fault because, it's not the player's fault. If the refs are going to call it that way, the refs are going to call it that way. But I really hope in the summer that the NBA looks at some of what they're calling fouls. And if the jump shooter is landing in an unnatural way to try to force a foul, it really, SGA maybe could have shot 10 free throws the other day instead of 17. So, I'm quibbling on the margins. But, there's a lot to like. Chet Holmgren, your newly christened second place defensive player of the year. Good workmanlike performance. Jalen Williams, a quiet 22, 7, and 6, giving you exactly the kind of production you want out of the second best player on a championship team. I mean, if you could say the stat line you'd want for the co-star, I don't think it would be that far from 22, 7, and 6 on 9 of 15 shooting. So, great performance from J-Dub. Then everybody, man, the shooting was a little rough. They finished 30% from the 3-point line. And of course, SGA 0% from the 3-point line, 5 for 18 from the field. But, they took care of business. And that in these kind of series, because that the Thunder are eventually going to beat the Suns. So in this kind of series, you just want to see how fast they're going to do it. And if they're going to leave without any scars, if they're going to get out of it clean, right. You don't want to be going 6 or 7 in the first round if you're a championship team.
Right. And also on top of that, like this was a statement from a team that won 64 games in the title last year, right? And they somehow look to me even better this year. But the Suns, let's be honest, man, they're the number 8 seed for a reason, right? Phoenix barely survived the play-in after beating the Warriors on Friday and had nothing left in the tank against a rested, deeper roster. Now, the real test for OKC comes in the second round when they face either, the Lakers or the Rockets, right? Mm-hmm. Teams with more star power, more playoff experience. Now, one blowout over a tired AFC doesn't prove they're unbeatable. It just proves they're exactly what the record says they are.
I think teams are licking their chops to get the Lakers in the second round. So, I mean, we'll see if Durant comes back, because if he doesn't, that's going to be a competitive series. But I do think teams want to see the Lakers, especially minus Luka and minus Austin Reeves. And I think those injuries are serious enough that they will likely keep them out a little bit longer than the second round. But you're right about the Suns. They were a little better than an 8 seed because really by record they should have been the 7 seed, but then they choked against Portland in the play-in game. But man, when you look at what happened in the game, 29 for 83 from the field.
Yeah.
29 for 83. Nobody was shooting good. Dylan Brooks, 6 for 22. Jalen Green, 6 for 16. Everybody, you just look from the bench to the starters, everybody struggling, and you got nothing from the bench. You got a decent game from from Devin Booker, your star player. But he was more or less outplayed by Jalen Williams, who's not even the star player on the other side. So let's give them some time to kind of lick their wounds. It is true that they had to play 2 play-in games. So, you know, the Oklahoma City Thunder were well rested basically for the final week of the season. They knew they were going to be the 1 seed. So it's not like they sat guys every single game, but guys were playing limited minutes. Then what you worry about if you're the Suns is you played so bad that you let the Thunder take their guys out in the fourth quarter. So they're going to be even more well rested. And so I would be surprised. You would think maybe the Suns can steal one if they're lucky, but I would be surprised if this series goes longer than 5.
Right. Got you. All right, we'll be right back.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, Matthew, topic number 5. Nikola Jokic was held to just 6 points in the first half, then finished with a 25-point, 13 rebound, 11 assists, triple-double that blew the game wide open. Now, Minnesota's defense had Joker locked up early, right? And the Wolves, took a 62-62 tie going to the break. Then Joker erupted for 12 points in the third quarter. Denver seized control. Man, Jamal Murray matched him with a team-high 30 points and went a perfect 16 for 16, Matthew, from the free throw line. One of the most efficient individual games you'll see this postseason. Then you got Anthony Edwards scored 22 for Minnesota, but looked limited by the knee injury that kept him out the 11 of the Wolves' last 14 regular season games. So, Matthew, is Denver the most dangerous team nobody's talking about right now?
Well, I think they're dangerous, but I also think people are still talking about them. People are always going to talk about them because when you got a player like Nikola Jokic, you've always got a chance. And now, for the last few years, we've referred to him as the best player in the world. I think folks are more hesitant to say that now, with how much SGA's game has evolved, and even maybe with the emergence of my boy down here, Mr. Wemby. So people aren't as quick to call Jokic the best player in the world anymore, but he still very well could be. And when you look at a guy that led the league in rebounds, led the league in assists, and is still going to give you an efficient 27, 28 every single night, I mean, you got to love it, man. Like you always, the people would be foolish to sleep on them, to underrate them. Because, you look at some of the games they played down the stretch, and I know it wasn't a perfect year for the Nuggets, but you look even that last fully healthy game between the Nuggets and the Spurs about a week and a half before the end of the season, where it went to OT. The Nuggets held their composure, and they won that game after being down most of it. This is a team that's been there before. That core, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, Jokic, and Murray, people forget they've played and won a title before. So they've already taken their licks in the playoffs. They've been there before. And you have Jokic, who, if he's not the best player in the world, he's the second best. And the guy's just got like eyes in the back of his head. Well, I watched him for a full year when Westbrook was on the Nuggets because I watch whatever team Westbrook is on, and I apologize for the noise. It is starting to rain quite heavily, and but I watched him for a year, and some of the passes he makes are just ridiculous. So when you see that he had 13 assists, it never really does it justice just to say he had 13 assists, because you look at like some of those passes he makes in the course of a game, and some of them should be worth like 2 assists, because I mean it's just so unreal, and no other player would make them. And so I think if you're the Timberwolves, you got to be very scared, especially if you're going to get that kind of performance from Ant all playoffs. It's just not going to be enough. Him going 7 for 19, and of course not really getting all that much from your core. I mean, these guys have been together a long time. They've been together for a few years now, that core of Edwards, Gobert, McDaniels, DiVincenzo, new-ish, but I want to say he's in his third year with his second year in Minnesota. So this core has been together for a while, and you wonder if they've kind of hit their peak. Like they've gone as far as they're going to go, and that was they made the conference finals in back-to-back years, and you wonder if that was their peak and if they're going to have to kind of rebuild a new roster around Ant, because based on game one, man, this doesn't look like a championship roster, and they'd be lucky to they'd be lucky to get out of the first round. I'd be surprised if they got out of the first round against these Denver Nuggets.
Right. Listen, the Nuggets have championship experience, and Joker's ability to flip the switch at halftime is what really makes them terrifying uh, in any type of 7-game series. But Minnesota had him dead even through the first 2 quarters and forced 4 turnovers out of Joker before he adjusted, right? So I'm looking at if Edwards can get healthy as the series goes on and the Wolves shooters start really connecting, those third quarter takeovers get harder to pull off. Denver's perimeter defense has always been their weakness. This series could be much tighter than the final score suggests, especially if Minnesota keeps the first half defensive intensity up for a full 48 minutes.
You know, it's hard for me to see it being closer because even if you sell out and do everything to go after Jokic, they still have Murray, who's still just a great player. I know the numbers for him were a little uneven the other night. I mean, he had an SGA-like game. You know, he was 7 for 22 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3, but 16 for 16 from the line, like you said. And so, you know, when your best player like Jokic has eyes in the back of his head like that and he really can see the whole court, it's like you sell out to guard him, but he's such a good passer that he's passing out of it almost every time. Then you have to worry about a wide open Jamal Murray. Then you have to worry about wide open lanes for Christian Brown, who's really one of the best finishers at the rim in the league. And then, of course, you know, Aaron Gordon, who's probably like one of the best, third best players in league history. I mean, they just got a great squad, a squad that's been together, a squad that knows each other. So it's like you can do everything you can to stop Jokic, but I don't think it's the same. Oh man. Scared me. That flash flood warning came through.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, man.
Y'all catching some serious rain.
Yeah,
the
man.
Thunder's coming after you.
Them Oklahoma City boys sending some thunder. So I think they just got too many weapons. Like, it's not like when you're playing LA and you just know, okay, maybe if we stop Luka, we can end this. Or if you're playing Houston, you say maybe if we could stop KD, we can end this. I just think they got so many weapons. And the fact that their best player is such a good passer makes it hard for me to believe. I think the Spurs and the Thunder would be favorites against them, but it makes it hard for me to believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to beat them.
Got you. Okay. All right. We'll see. So topic number 6. Man, let's talk about, them Knicks versus the Hawks, because we spoke so highly of the Hawks going into to the playoffs. Listen, Jalen Brunson scored 19 points in the first quarter. Then he went 0 for 7 from the field in the second half, and the Knicks still won by 11, Matthew. So look, Cat, he took over when Bronson cooled off. He had 25 points with 19 of them in the second half. Josh Hart, he was like everywhere. He had 10 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. CJ McCollum led Atlanta with 26. Jalen Johnson added 23. But the Hawks, man, they just couldn't get stops down the stretch. And New York ended the game on a 13-4 run to put away at the MSG 113-102. So, Matthew, is this Knicks team built for a deep playoff run, or are they a second-round exit waiting to happen?
I think they're a second-round exit waiting to happen. And really that's just because, you know, if they get out of this round, they're going to have to play they're going to have to play Boston. If we think Boston's going to end up finishing off the 76ers, they're going to have to play Boston. And so they're a good team. They've got a lot of weapons, you know, Josh Hart, do it all. I'm a rebound. I'm going to play defense. You know, OG Anunoby, just one of the great all-around, you know, perimeter players. Well, great's a little strong, but very good. You know, Brunson's a great point guard, if not a little undersized. Cat, of course, best three-point shooting big man in the league right now. And Bridges, I mean, that's a hell of a starting lineup. Like that's a really great starting lineup. So I think they're going to continue to look good in this series, but I don't think they have the firepower to beat Boston. They have the firepower, perhaps, but they don't have their ceiling's not as high as Boston's. Their star power, their stars, Brunson and Cat, aren't like Boston stars, you know, just proven stone cold killers like Brown and Tatum, who are basically more or less going to consistently give you 25 every night, going to play defense, going to do everything, going to do the little things that you need to do to lead a team. Where like the New York Knicks, I could see if they start falling behind, I could see people getting upset with each other. I could see some finger pointing. I could see Cat making some faces. So I think they have a great team, and it's not like a team that I necessarily would want to see them blow up after this season. Because, maybe, these teams, you got to take your licks in the playoffs a couple times and you come back stronger. But I don't think it's going to be their year. But it's nice to see them beating the Hawks. But, the Hawks, it's interesting. Whenever we talk good about Atlanta, their fans would always come on our stream and say, oh, no, we're not legit. Y'all aren't watching the games. Like, this Hawks team, this is one of the biggest fraud Hawks teams. And I was always surprised how negative the Atlanta fans in our comments were about their own team. Then just kind of watching them in game one, it's like, oh, no, you start to get it. Maybe them hating Hawks fans were right. But the thing that stands out to me is Kuminga. Like you love that trade. He was their first man off the bench. He didn't really give you much in terms of offense. The bench gave you nothing, but Kuminga was the leader of the second unit. And, he shot 3 of 7 from the field. But the thing that really, really stands out to me is whenever you have a defensive stopper in your lineup, whether it's Andre Roberson, whether it's Matisse Thybulle, but they're not that good on offense, you run the risk of teams just playing you 4-on-5 when you're on offense and just going to go guard your best players. And I think that player for the Hawks is Dyson Daniels. And when you look at the numbers all year, you say, oh, man, like he can't shoot the three. He doesn't shoot free throws well. Maybe he can get some stuff at the rim because they're playing, they're making a lot of passes. They're playing like a team. But when you see that Dyson Daniels game, and he was 2 for 7. He was the only player in their starting lineup that didn't crack double digits. He had 4 points. And he was doing everything else. He had 9 rebounds. He had 11 assists. He had 3 steals. But if you're going to have a guy in your team that's your defensive stopper but can't produce on offense himself and teams aren't even guarding him at some point, it just never works in the playoffs. I watched all those Russ OKC teams that had Andre Roberson on them. And Andre Roberson's one of the better perimeter defenders I've ever seen. But it didn't matter because when we had the ball on offense, we had a lot of non-shooters. I mean, Russ was the best player on that team, and, he's not considered a shooter. And but I saw how they guarded Roberson, and you wonder if teams are going to guard Dyson Daniels like that. Does his defensive impact and his cohesion in the starting unit, does it make up for that? And, I mean, we'll see as the series goes on, but I have a very hard time picking Atlanta to beat the Knicks.
Got you. Listen, having a second star like Towns who picks up the scoring when Brunson goes court is exactly what separates contenders from pretenders, right? But the Hawks cut it close to the fourth before that closing run, right? So Johnson and Walker hit some timely threes that had New York sweating. But if Bronson goes 0 for 7 and a half against a better team like the Celtics in the second round, man, the margin gets razor thin. Now, New York's depth is real, right? Hearts all around game proves that. But, man, this ceiling depends on Bronson being more consistent across all 4 quarters, not just one electric first period.
He's undersized for a star, so it's going to get harder for him to get buckets as he's playing better defenses. And he's playing them for 7 games, and they're having time to game plan for him. I think he'd really have a hard time against Boston with their defensive cohesion. So, basically what I would say to Brunson is enjoy it while it lasts because, I mean, you probably get whatever shots you want against Atlanta to some degree. I mean, Atlanta plays good defense. Atlanta's a good team, but they're not Boston, and they're not even Detroit, but I don't know. Well, we don't know about Detroit with how they came out against game 1 against the Magic. But yeah, the Knicks do have depth. I wouldn't say they're a contender versus I don't think they're a pretender, but I don't think they're a contender either. That starting lineup's solid. Then that whole rotation, their first 3 off the bench are Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, and Miles McBride. I mean, they have a team, and I think they have a very high floor. But like I say, I just don't think their ceiling is as high as the Celtics for sure, the Thunder. And even though they had a lot of success against the Spurs in the regular season, I think the way that Spurs team is playing, I think the ceiling for that lineup is a lot higher than the Knicks. So I have a hard time seeing them coming out of the East. And if they did come out of the East, I would pick them as a major underdog against any of the top 3 teams in the West. Denver. Well, I guess Denver's actually. No, Denver's the 3 seed. Yeah, Denver, San Antonio, or OKC.
Got you. All right.
Make sure you hit the new thanks button down below to donate to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you fresh content.
All right, Matthew, we're going to round it out with this. You ready for that rapid fire round?
Let's do it.
Remember, 1 sentence answers only.
Yes, sir.
All right. Wemby dropped 35 in his playoff debut, and the Spurs won 111-98 over Portland. Does anyone have an answer for him in this bracket?
This is an easy one. Here's my 1 sentence. No, period.
All right. Number 2, Kevin Durant's knee kept him out of game 1. If he misses game 2, are the Rockets already done?
Absolutely yes. Complete catastrophe. It's the Rockets. It's not as successful. It's not like the Artemis mission. It's more like the Challenger.
How you come up with the Artemis and Challenger? That's crazy. All right, the last one, number 3. Give me 1 first-round series that goes to 7 games.
Ooh, I think this one, the one that comes to mind, and I will go with it right off the bat, the Pistons and the Orlando Magic.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right. Good. All right, so Matthew, man, appreciate you stopping by. Man, everybody remember, we won't be here this Thursday. We will join you back Monday. By then, we'll have how many games played by then, Matthew?
Man, we should already be on
3,
some
4,
game
5.
fives.
We should be on we should be on round 2 by next Monday, right?
No,
You know,
I don't
give
think
or
so.
take, you know, unless we stretch out 6 or 7 games, but if not, so no, we already 1, 2. We should be close now, almost the end of the first round. Close to it.
Monday, we got game 2s today. That means game 3s on
2, 3,
Wednesday, game 3s on Fridays,
4.
game 4s on Sunday. We should be game 5s. Yeah. So some of the series may be over.
Yeah.
You would hope not. If you're some of those teams, you would hope not.
Right. All right, Matthew. Let's do something real quick. Matthew, let's see. Let's head over to our comment section and see what we have.
Yeah.
I know. Let's see if they're hating on you or not, Matthew. Because I tell you, they don't care for your comments. One guy thought you were white. All right, let's see what we have here. What? Just ask me for my password.
Uh-oh.
Confirm that it's me. Send my verification phone to my phone number. Let me see what I got here.
Let's see. Well, we're in trouble now. So while you're looking for that, I guess I'll expand a little on my thoughts on that
All right.
Pistons Orlando series going 7. I just think, the Pistons are obviously the better team, but you let Orlando get 1, you let them get some confidence, and now you have to worry that if they get 1 more, you're going to be in a complete dogfight. But I think they're the better team, so eventually they'll win. But when you drop that game 1, when you drop that home court advantage, and you have a team that was slumping that's now kind of coming together, that becomes a dangerous team, Shawn. And so that one, and then you could also possibly look at the Lakers and Rockets, depending on the KD situation. Say if KD comes back like in game 3 and the Lakers are already up 2-0, you could see that one possibly going 7 games.
Right.
And I'll tell you, the one that won't go 7 games is the Celtics and 76ers. That one would be lucky. That one would be lucky to go 5 games.
Got you. All right, Matthew.
Here we go.
I tell you what, we got a lot of comments on this one. I was shocked to get so many. I tell you what, anytime we deal with can you see that?
Yeah, I can, man.
Look at this. You remember we talked about Danny Adavia? And remember I say he's like the next Manny Ginobili, had 41 points, 12 assists. So
Uh-huh.
listen what we have. So we have MSEGEV 112. Matthew is exactly right. Unfortunately, as a Dame gal, the Blazers fan by extension, I just don't see how they can disrupt the flow of the well-oiled machine called the Spurs, even in Wemby's absence. The Blazers have been turnover prone, severe lack of consistent, reliable shooters, offense that gets stagnant for long stretches. Adavia, uh,
Avdia.
Avdia carries a lingering issue with his back. He can't consistently carry this team in a playoff intensity. If the Blazers manage a couple competitive games in the Spurs sweep and gain experience, that's a blessing.
Man, I'm looking at some of these negative ones. I see the positive ones, but I'm gonna say all these guys. It was before the game yesterday. Tell them how they feel now. All these guys talking about how I'm so wrong about the Blazers. How y'all feel now after that 15-point slapping last night to my San Antonio Spurs? Come on. Look, hi Dad won. I hope you enjoy them 7 likes you got. Telling me I got no idea what I'm talking about. Well, I guess I do when you consider that them Spurs boys slapped them Blazers boys around yesterday.
Man, Matthew, how you start reading that already? We haven't even got to that point yet. You just went straight to it and start reading it.
So the negativity caught my eye.
Yeah, I see. So let's look at user 01R6T. Tell you didn't watch the game and tell me you didn't watch the game. Suns were trash. Last 2 months, Blazers didn't have their roster for 80 games this season. Obviously calling Holiday a washed 2 player. Well, I spotted a clown.
He's not like washed. He's just not as good as he was in his prime. I mean, the aging process comes for all of us. If you look at generally what he did at the peak of his career, being like a 20 points a game guy, defensive player of the year candidate. He's obviously not that. So, man, I'm sorry that I hurt all these Blazers fans' feelings. But if you look at the scoreboard from last night, it's pretty clear that I was right about a couple of these things.
All right, let's see. Like you said, hi, Dad, one. The guy on the left has no idea what he's talking about. He's talking about you, Matthew. Portland played most all year with a small partial roster, and then he carried them on his back almost single-handedly to the playoffs. The guy probably hasn't seen a single Portland game. First time Portland has come with almost a full roster, except for Damian Lillard, to an important game. Before Phoenix, they beat the Clippers twice, and this year they also beat Oklahoma and the Rockets back-to-back. Then John Gotti followed it up with, he really doesn't. Portland is not the same they were most of the season dealing with injuries. Boy, Matthew, they being rough on you.
I'm telling you what, Shawn, I'm going over there right now, and I'm gonna ask them how that full roster helped them last night. I'm going to go find that comment right now, and I'm gonna ask them. Because that full roster, hey, Shawn, they were telling us about, hey, Matthew, you don't know anything because what we're going to do with a full roster. Well, I mean, they had the full roster last night, and what happened?
Yep. Got me.
I got it pulled up right now. Look. I'm looking at Hi Dad right now, and I'm saying, how did that full roster help you last night?
Are you responding to him right now?
That's
hilarious.
Thank you for my prompt apology. Exclamation point. All right.
I love it.
There you go.
All right. So we have MITRAB873. I think you're sleeping on the Blazers a bit. They never had a healthy squad this season until now. They are just getting the rhythm together. Let's see. And regarding Denny, he is not like Manny. Oh, they talking about me now. He is more of a point guard and creator, less than a defender and hustler. Okay. Not going to argue with that. Guy location 9823. Bro, hat guy. Oh, my God. Matthew, Matthew, the way they be going off on you. Bro, hat guy. You haven't watched Blazers games. DC going to be Donkey Kong on your such and such. Danny and the Avengers team going to crash on Wemby wave after wave. Blazers in 7. This guy is delusional, isn't he?
Hey, guy location 9823. What happened last night? Come on, man. Come on. What's up, Blazers fans? I'm gonna go find some of these.
Hey, Matthew, did you realize we have so many Blazers fans?
Hey,
This
look
is
at this one. Blazer fans here. You guys have no idea what you're talking about, but you're going to be introduced to Portland today. I'm going to go reply to him too. It was
that was DG19B, I9B.
it wasn't much of an introduction. Thanks for my apology. I'm right now.
And
Thanks.
Roland Miller 5456, he replied to me, there's only one Manu Ginobili. This guy is good, but how long has he been in the league before he decided to explode? Manu came in and changed the game the minute he put on the Spurs jersey. That's not to mention everything he did overseas before he came over here. Before you compare him to one of the greatest international players in the history of the game, you might want to pump the brakes a little bit. I don't know, Matthew. You're in San Antonio. Is Ginobili one of the greatest international players to play our game?
Oh yeah, all day.
Okay, you agree?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. Come on, man.
Next, Ginobili is other Israel Ben Sarif. Denny is the next Luka.
This guy can't even spell. Give me the next comment.
All right, and you already responded to Blazer fan here. All right, after that, Roger Green 3987. Nah, it's only one of him. Stop it. Go Spurs, go. All right, we got a Spurs fan there.
Go Spurs, go. What's up, Roderick?
William Reynolds 9420. Lots of that. Where's Mars? We got two homers that don't know ball. Oh, we got two homers here that don't know ball.
Okay, points for creativity.
All right. Rip City, baby. Lots of laugh. This is so comical. Hat guy never watched ball. But I love how they call you Hat Boy. They didn't hear me when I call you Matthew.
Let's see. I'm going to find that one too. I'm going to say I just started watching ball with the game last night. Man, these comments are killing me, man. You know I love them.
Yep. And then Backer Harandi, when we talked about this LaMelo Cinderella story, LaMelo took Bam with a dirty play. Suspend him.
Yeah. I mean, don't suspend him now, but like suspend him at the beginning of next season. I mean, well, now it don't matter. So suspend him at the bill. Right. I didn't want them to suspend him for the playing game against the Magic. Not that it helped him anyway, but I thought it would have hurt the competition to suspend him. But man, they played so bad anyway, it didn't matter. So, but yeah, I say give him a couple games at the beginning of next season.
Oh, I think Yosh, I think is he downplaying Castle? He said, yeah, put Castle on him, idiot. That dude cannot be guarded. Man, are they trying to say that Castle can't guard Denny?
Oh, I think what they're trying to say is that they're wrong and they don't watch basketball, because if you watched the game last night, the same game I watched, man, the Blazers didn't have many answers for them San Antonio boys.
Yep, and then when we put out Luka Doncic's desperate move to save his playoff run, going to go get the steroid shots. Yandy 137, this didn't age well. Oh, to Houston, bye-bye to that. Oh, yeah. He already gonna play. He put Houston down fast.
I mean, we didn't know that KD wasn't going to be playing. I wouldn't have picked, if I knew KD wasn't going to be playing, my prediction would have looked a lot different. That's for sure.
Yeah. Matthew, I'm happy. Listen, man, people are starting to go to the comment section. They're participating. They're watching the video. So I love it, man.
I love it too. Even if they're negative, I just ask people to be nice. But you know what? You don't have to be, because it's still nice to hear from everybody.
There you have it, Matthew, man. Appreciate you joining us once again. Man, we'll be back next Monday. If there's, I don't know. I don't think there's a way I could sneak another one in. Maybe Wednesday, who knows? But if not, we will be back next Monday. Till next time, we signing out.
Adios.
Peace.